assalamu alaikum, jianu, pakhair ragale, ni hao, chunashume, washmale, ohio gonzaimas, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifahal, hale shama chatore, ahlan wasalan, marhaba, and a very amazing good morning to everybody who's tuned into PT World and watching World this morning, alongside the very pretty, the very amazing Maha Makhdoom and Shahzad Khan. Hello Maha, how are you today?
Hello Shahzad, assalamu alaikum. I'm all right today. I'm actually never always perfect, actually, when you ask me, because today I woke up with severe allergies and I couldn't open my eye today.
Really?
And so that's why we're trying some new makeup styles today, because my eye is absolutely messed up.
But you look great today.
Thank you, that's very
I
kind.
don't know, I think women do have this habit of, for example, if a man is actually going to compliment them, they'll come up with something, oh, no, you know, it's...
No, thank you, that's great.
Thank you very much for being so modest anyways. Yeah. But even other than that, you know, we're about to get started with some amazing topics today, and I think this is for the very first time that we're going to discuss these 2 days on the show too. But before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at what's happening all around the globe. Good morning. Top stories coming up.
A trio of newborn red-necked wallaby joeys are jumping into the hearts of visitors to the San Diego Zoo's nursery, where they are being hand-raised until they are old enough to join the larger court of wallabies. Cute.
Wow.
It's a lot of effort.
Yeah. An Australian zoo released 5 little penguins back into the wild in Sydney after nursing the flightless birds back to health for the past 2 months. Penguins can fly? They're flightless? Yeah, flightless birds. That's what it's
Beloved cat can create memories that last a lifetime. For 99-year-old Ron Grantham, that includes happy times when he used to go fly fishing with his dog called Spot.
Wow. Hey, Spotty. And with a good news starting our day, ladies and gentlemen, where Pakistan wrestling team has returned home after winning 1 gold and 2 bronze medals in Commonwealth Games 2018. Large throng of people greeted the team on its arrival at Allama Iqbal International Airport in Lahore. And within the Commonwealth Games, we won 1 gold and I think 4 of them are bronze.
Wonderful.
So a total of 5 medals. Thank you very much for making us proud. Way to go. Wow.
Excellent. So that was the stories around the world and within Pakistan. And now we, like Shahzad mentioned in the introduction, we have a lot of information for you. And today, the first time, I think we're going to be touching upon 2 days that are being celebrated and observed around the world. And one of them is World Heritage Day.
Yes, and talking about World Heritage Day, ladies and gentlemen, our everyday life actually embodies about the culture we live in. You know, and it truly represents the type of people we are or from where we belong. But as a matter of fact, World Heritage Day today means where we actually celebrate the culture of each and every other country or probably wherever it exists, and the heritage too. And this is where we need to celebrate the cultures of the world and the heritage all around us.
Exactly. And days like this, you know, helps to create tolerance and understanding between nations as well. And like Shahzad said, the heritage is, you know, it's part of our identity. If we don't preserve it, if we don't look after it, if we're not aware about it, then we will be more confused as we go forward into the future.
Exactly. And then at the same time, before we move on towards a video which we have and which we want to share with people out there telling us about the culture and heritage of Pakistan, the best part which we can do on this World Heritage Day is that, for example, if you know of a site, go and let people know that, you know, it needs maintenance or it needs preservation. And even if other than that, you've discovered one and it needs help, I think that's something which you can do too.
Exactly. And within Pakistan, even, you know, with any city that you're living in or village that you're living in, you've got a stone throw away. You know, there's so much history at every kind of step that you take. It's wonderful. You know, within Islamabad, nearby, we have Taxila, then you have Rohtas Fort.
Yeah, Rohtas Fort.
And then Qatas Raj.
Then we've got Fort in Lahore, then we've got Hiran Minar somewhere right next to Faisalabad or Shekhupur as well. There's so many. Pakistan's full of that. And we've got a video which is actually going to tell you about the culture and heritage of Pakistan. Here it is.
How pleasant was that? That was absolutely beautiful. And you know, almost every city, every town, every village of Pakistan has some form of cultural heritage, and we need to really start valuing and preserving and appreciating it.
Exactly. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it is very perfect to move on, because quite a lot of times there are people who let us whatever we want to decide, and actually they help us. Now, for example, what happens is that if I'm going to take this newspaper,
Yes.
I can see quite a lot of columns in it. And then there are different types of people who actually write about probably, you know, where to go for fishing, or probably which book to read, or probably any problem you have in your life, or even if it's not a problem, it's just some information, piece of information. These are the people who do all the research and all the hard work.
Exactly. So today around the world, Columnist Day is being observed, and we are observing it within the studio as well, because as Shazad mentioned, these are people who go out of their way to do the research, to get information to us about things maybe that we don't know, maybe we don't have an idea of, and also to kind of give guidance as well. But the thing is, they also face a lot of problems, or, you know, a lot of issues getting the information.
Exactly, and I think this is why we wanted to celebrate both of these days as well. For example, first the Culture and the Heritage Day as well, because there's a culture of these columnists over here within Pakistan, with due respect. And what they do is that at times people say that they're biased. At times that they say that somebody is just too blunt. At times people say that, you know, they do not even research quite a lot. They do not know the truth. So there are so many hardships for them. But even then, every day they take out time, they write things. And even once they're written, they go to their chief editor, and he or she says, well, you know, this is something which we cannot put up on the paper. And it is distressful as well for all of these people who do so much research.
Exactly, but that's the whole point. We're going to find out if we're correct or not about the angle of columnists, but it also is about getting opinions out there as well. So we're going to be talking about everything right now, and we've been very lucky. We've been joined by Atar Rahman Khilji. He is a writer for Jahangir World Times. He's also an officer of the Provincial Service as well. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Besides Atar Rahman.
Thank you.
Besides Atar Rahman Khilji, we've been joined by Noman Hassan. He is an independent columnist. Assalamu alaikum, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us today.
So to get the conversation started, first things first, why did you even choose to be a columnist?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all, I am very much grateful to you people, to the PTV, for inviting me to this program, which is about a very important issue, that is the International Columnist Day. As far as this profession is concerned, this profession is having a lot of importance, not only for the common people, but for the columnist himself or herself too, because through this profession, one gets a lot of information. One has to study a lot of things.
Right.
Because writing column without study, it is next to impossible. And when we are writing some column about any issue, whether that is about social issue, whether that is about some international issue, current affair, or foreign exchange, economic problem, anything, or about some Islamic issue, definitely, then we have to study a lot of books. We are required to be abreast with the latest news, with the latest trends that are available in the society. And we are also required to be well aware of the social norms, because we have to remain within certain parameters, and we cannot, no writer can cross those parameters, because if you exceed or if you cross those parameters, then it creates a lot of problem, not only for the columnist but also for the society.
Okay, well, we'll talk about the parameters in a moment, because that's a very important element of writing columns, and you know, even in journalism within itself. But now, before we move on to the hurdles and the parameters, I just want to ask Numan, being a columnist within Pakistan, you're an independent columnist. What kind of career, what kind of work have you seen come your way? Has it been adequate or not?
Well, being a columnist, the main motivational factor that I came to analyze was, for me, was to say something that you want to say, and to say something that you want to hear people, that you want that people must know it. So second thing is that it is a very unique but very important field. To be a columnist, the main important thing is to be very honest. To be very honest with your values, to be very honest with your country, to be very honest with your nation, because you are putting something on the minds of your nation, on the minds of people. So it is very important field. So second thing is that to be a columnist, it is I think it's very important to be an independent. Like you must do something, you must have to produce something that's very good for your nation.
Exactly, and I think being an independent columnist actually gives you the liberty to not being hijacked by anybody who's influential or inspirational too as well.
Yeah, very
But
true.
how much of hard work definitely goes into being a columnist himself or herself?
Well, the hard work mainly is that what you are trying to do. Sometimes you want to say something that is like good for your nation, that is good for your country, but that is like that is restricted. You cannot produce what you want to say. You cannot say it because mainly because of the influential factors, influential actors in your state. So there are many hurdles in that. So one of the main hurdle is the availability of source, availability of data, availability of information. That put the main limitation on your work. So I think this is the main factor on that.
Okay, now let's go back to you know, the role of a columnist. And you said that, you know, they play a vital role in kind of, it can be have an effect on the society and, you know, maybe even the fabric of society. But with the columnist, is it more so? I mean, let me get this correct, like, because it falls under the scope of journalism, correct? Writing a column. Now, column are more commentary on facts, or are they more opinions? What are we talking? Like, let's clarify
Good
before we
question.
do the parameters.
It is a very good question. Basically, columnists, they are the opinion makers because they develop or they make the opinion, and generally the common people, they read the columns and then they develop the ideas. They follow the views of the columnist. And as far as the columnists are concerned, they have to make certain preparations. They have to keep into consideration different factors, and it is not only the commentary. It is a commentary as well as the opinion. It is an amalgamation of commentary as well as the opinion. For example, in the column, the columnist, first of all, he would explain the issue which he is discussing. He would explain that issue, and he would give the historical perspective of that event. He would also discuss, he would give a touch of the historical background of that issue. And then, for example, if it is some problem, then he would suggest certain reforms or certain solutions for that problem. And those solutions must be based on logical grounds. And for those logical grounds, the columnist or the writer, he is required to remain in touch, or he must have studied a number of the books.
Okay.
He must have studied the newspapers, especially the leading newspapers. And when he is well aware of these things, then he can give a good opinion. And for that purpose, there is another important thing which we have already discussed. We have touched that issue, that a writer or the columnist, he must be impartial. Although we know that each and everyone, he is having some tilt towards some political party or towards some ideology, but that must not be reflected. That must not be reflected in his column.
Okay, however, this is a very important point you raised. But what I've noticed is, because, you know, we do a lot of reading, we do, like, we love newspapers, we check out a lot of journalists, especially with social media now. You know, the access, you can see everyone's work.
Avenues are out there.
But the thing is, this is happening globally, where the opinion makers, you know, you have these editorial outlets, you know, in Pakistan we have Dawn, Tribune, etc. List goes on. America, you have all the different ones, New York Times, Washington Post. In England, you have, you know, they all follow a different political and social approach. So you're not really having that impartial opinions put out there, because everyone's trying to sway you, because either it's for votes, either it's for money, either it's for some form of social reform, which half the people don't agree with. You know, like, so everyone has their own opinions. Do you agree with that or not?
I think it is the responsibility, it is the tactic of the writer that he should not reflect his inclination towards
But
some
everyone's
ideology.
doing it, is what I'm saying in this day and age.
Yes, but
Let's look realistically.
some are crossing the limits.
Yeah.
Some are remaining within the limits. For example, if there is some writer, if he is clearly showing that he is expressing the opinion of that and that ideology, or the opinion of that and that political party, then it is not good for him or for her, because then the general public now, they are also very much educated. They
Yeah,
know,
okay.
they know that the writer is having inclination toward that ideology or to
Okay.
that political party.
Pretty much, I think in this day and time, everybody knows that who's inclined towards whom. But thank you very
Do
much
you
for
know?
highlighting Thank you very much for highlighting the role of a columnist or a writer or a
Yes.
journalist as well.
Thank you.
That, you know, they should actually reflect within their own writing, whichever way they're inclined, whether it's political, whether it's economical, or whatever it is. But, you know, the sentiment which prevails throughout the globe is that columnists or writers or journalists these days think that they're not the opinion makers, they are the policy makers. So how do we get rid of this sentiment? And I think that if this sentiment prevails, it is because of the fact that you guys were so inclined and reflected within your own writing. So Naman Sahab, I'll start
Well,
with you.
you said a very fine thing. Thank you so much for asking me this question. I would like to answer this question.
Yeah.
The thing is, you are right. Actually, these things varies from situation to situation, from area to area. If you are a Pakistani-based columnist, your first priority is to give a good narrative of your nation, a good narrative of your country. And same is the case if for an Indian, same is the case for an American or as a UK. So the second thing is materialistic. Yes, you are right. I'm sorry to say that, but this thing exists. This thing exists. So because of the material things, because of the hunger for money and these type of issues, these things are there. So mainly these things are influencing mainly, and these things are the main thing that are disturbing this field. Like this, people are out of their responsibility. They don't know exactly what their responsibilities are, and because of these things that are influencing.
Okay, now so now you've raised some important points, and you know I agree to a certain extent that it is, you know, it's our responsibility, or it's a journalist's responsibility or columnist to give a balanced opinion of what is the situation and the facts. Now, the thing is, I disagree with the fact that you're supposed to portray your nation in a positive light all the time, because there are problems and issues that are prevailing in every country.
So who's going to be
and
an
by
ally?
hiding it, we don't do anything. Until you are embarrassed in front of, you know, in front of people, we don't make changes in anyone's lives. Everyone's guilty of that. So where do we draw that line of that whole, you know, doing a duty to a cause or an issue, and you're the person that you're writing for, and then showcasing, you know, I mean, covering up for the rest of the world? I mean, where do you draw that line? Because if you're just giving a positive narrative, then how are you ever going to talk about the issues that are affecting thousands and millions of people?
Definitely, it is a very good question. The thing is that one important thing is patriotism. The writer or the columnist, he is required to be very much patriotic. Definitely, we cannot ignore the ground realities. We have to portray the things in a good manner, in a positive manner, and we should show the loopholes that are present in the society. But at the same time, we should also recommend the methods for plugging those loopholes.
Yeah,
We
of
can't
course.
say, we cannot project the things that everything is good, there is no issue, and we would say that because I am very much patriotic, so that's why I am not reflecting or I am not mentioning the defects or the problems that are present in the society. But the problems should be reflected, or the problems should be shown in a very positive manner, and because it is very much easy to pinpoint the loopholes or to pinpoint the defects. The difficult thing is that to propose the solutions.
Yes.
And solutions must always be proposed, and the solutions must be very much rational in nature, logical in nature.
Solutions are great. I think they can be imposed
yes,
too as well.
practicable in nature. For example, if I am reflecting some issue that exists in our beloved country Pakistan, and I am suggesting that solution that is only possible in the developed country, now it is very much irrational.
Yes, of course.
I should also keep into consideration the ground realities. What is our political system? What are our economic issues? What are the defects that are present in our administrative setup, as well as in our what kind of police reforms? For example, these things. So the issues or the ground realities should be reflected, but in a positive manner. And at the same time, the writer should not be pessimist in nature. He should be very much, he should show to the people, or he should convince the people that they should be very much sanguine. They must be very much optimistic. And it is only possible when he would show that what are the solutions, when he would reflect what are the solutions.
Well, that I probably assume is, you know, every individual's choice, whether they want to be an optimist or a pessimist as well. But other than that, now let's, you know, we have covered pretty much the half side of the picture. Now let's move on to the other side of the picture. Moving on the other side, okay, definitely, you know, columnists and journalists and people over here are very inspirational. That's the reason why within universities we have got hundreds and thousands of people who picked up on journalism, and that's the degree they want to do, because we have done some inspirational work. For example, may it be riots, because, people, they just write a column and then there can be riots in the country too as well. Half of the airtime is taken away by all of these columns which are being written early in the morning, and we read them, and that's what we want to share with the people, because we think that the information is authentic. Now, what are the hardships you have to face to maintain that balance, which we were talking about earlier, that, okay, I draw the line over here, I'm going to be optimistic, and my selection of words, or the jargon, which this is the right word to use, is not going to reflect in a way where there's going to be a problem within my own country. So, we have to draw this line too. So, Naman sir, let's get started.
Well, I already answered it, but I think the main issue the columnist today is facing is mainly the restrictions for them, the main issues for them. One of the main issues I already told you, the availability of data. Then the second thing is the influence of major actors or major powers. Like if someone is going to say something that is anti of any political party, so that political party he will suffer consequences because of that. So these are very important issues for the columnists. And the one thing that I already said it, that and I am very agreed with the Khalid Sahab, he said very fine thing, that the columnist must be independent, but he must have to rise up the issues of the society, but in a positive way, in a rational way.
And that depends on the selection of the words. For example, what words you're picking up on.
No, I mean, it also depends on your motives as well. But we've actually run out of time. It was absolutely wonderful to have you on the show and to discuss this really important, observe this very important day. Thank you so much for being here. And it was a great conversation, and we had so much more to discuss, but we haven't run out of time.
And then at the same time, I just wanted to check each and every newspaper whether any columnist actually knows that it's World Columnist Day today or not. So I'll get back to you guys on this tomorrow.
And also, I just wanted to say that I also write, so I will be sharing my links as well for you guys to check out later. So let's go take a break.
Good morning.
Sitar is a plucked stringed instrument used in Pakistani classical music. The instrument flourished under the Mughal Empire. Sitar is named after a Persian word, setar, meaning three strings. It derives its distinctive timbre and resonance from sympathetic strings, bridge design, a long hollow neck, and a gourd-shaped resonance chamber. There are many popular modern styles of sitar, offered in a variety of substyles and decorative patterns.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for everyone who just got tuned into PT World. You watching World this morning alongside Maha Makhdoom and Shahzad Khan. Today, earlier, ladies and gentlemen, we started the show with World Heritage Day. Then we moved on to World Columnist Day as well. And we are celebrating and observing all of these days because we think these days are very important and essential to understand the very nitty-gritty of life.
Exactly. And, daily things kind of sweep all the effort under the rug. So we'd like to pay attention to it, as Shahzad said. But now, we're talking about before the impact that writers and columnists have on the society and community. But also another thing that has an impact on the society and community are the youngsters of today, right?
Exactly. And the youngsters are so full of talent that we cannot even tell you that they have actually left us flabbergasted quite a lot of times as well.
Yeah, I really feel like our producer's really out there to show us how we haven't achieved anything by all these students.
Yeah, but then even at the same time, we definitely at PTV World on World this morning use this platform to share all of this talent. And the talent we have been sharing in the last few days is not just raw talent. They are high achievers. They have made Pakistan proud. And not just Pakistan, I think they have made our flag prominent in each and every other country wherever they have been.
Exactly, because as you know, the whole point of the show is to showcase the positive element of Pakistan, because the narrative within the media is very negative, especially when you go abroad. So, the reality of Pakistan is really hidden and the beauty of it's hidden. So
Thank you very much for saying that, but I wanted to add to this
Yes.
as well, and that is that, ladies and gentlemen, we keep on saying that, the foreign media says this or what happens, or, they have their different agendas. But I think it is our responsibility to create the best image which suits us and then promote and project it to other countries.
Exactly. And a balanced, honest image. There's nothing wrong with that either.
Exactly.
But the youth that have been representing Pakistan, and, now, because we had some people who'd won some robotics competition as well earlier this week. So now we have been joined by some extremely high achievers. One of our guests, he was here before. He was talking about all of his achievements then. We're going to catch up with him and see what he's been up to. We've been joined by Muhammad Ali Jalal, who is still studying, but he's gone across to US to represent Pakistan as a cultural ambassador. Assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum salam. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much.
Besides Muhammad Ali Jalal, we've been joined by Jannat Ilyas Butt. She's also a high achiever and has won lots and lots of awards.
And she's participated in so many events that I cannot even name all of them. Some Beacon House Drama Festivals, and then other than that, there's this youth festival by the Chief Minister of Punjab.
She's going to tell us
She
all of it.
participated in that, and she's going to definitely let us know what she did and how she did it all, and what was the role of her parents and family.
Exactly. So let's get the conversation started. So let's catch up with Muhammad Ali. Since you were last here, tell us what you've been up to.
Yeah, so, a year ago I went to the United States as a cultural ambassador where I got to meet the senator of Michigan as well as a couple of representatives, as well as I was able to represent my culture as well as Islam in forming more than 30 presentations in churches and high schools.
Amazing.
I was able to accomplish more than 117 hours of community service over there.
Wow.
And also while I was there, I figured out something new about myself because, I, along with two of my American friends, we participated in an international documentary contest, and we got into the top 150, for which we were recognized by the Congress, United States Congress, as well as the House of Representatives, and we got a tribute by the state of Michigan.
Wow, that is amazing. You truly deserve a big round of applause.
We're going to find out. Yeah.
But what people want to know is, how did you make it to USA?
Well,
and why?
I think it was an accident. No, I'm just kidding. So it has always been a process. It was never like an event which was like, where an idea popped up for me. But, really what happened was, like, since I was 10 years old, I was trying to figure out the problems which are existing in our country. And then I was trying to use that hidden trial method to find the solutions and to visualize whether it would solve that particular problem. So, one of my interests was that I want to go to developed nations, and I want to see what difference do they have? I mean, what are the things that they do different, which is different from our nation? And I really want to see, what really makes them above us and what really makes them developing. So that was one of the driving forces for which I applied the program for. And I'm still, really looking forward to traveling more countries around the world, and with a passion to basically replicate
to cover
it in
what's
our country.
different to different and then beyond differences.
And like what? And like our previous guest was saying, like Atta Rahman Khilji, like finding solutions to the problem rather than just complaining about it.
Wow.
That's wonderful. But before we go on to, I want to pick apart some of the stuff that you already mentioned, like the documentary, etc. But before we do that, let's move on to Janet. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. So tell us, you have got an array of awards in front of you. Tell us a little bit about those.
What have you been doing?
Yeah.
I've participated in many speeches and debates, and apart from that, I've received many awards for my curricular activities.
Okay.
And these shields are for my speech performances, and I participated in the youth festival.
So can we do it one by one?
Okay,
yeah.
So which shield is for which purpose?
Okay, so in the front, we'll start off with the silver cup, right at the front.
Yeah, that's for my curricular activities. For being a good student at my, I guess it's 6th grade. Or
excellent.
I don't even remember being good at my first grade.
Okay, and then behind that, the glass one, what have you got?
Those are for my speeches, I participated in the youth festival organized by CM Punjab, and I received a shield from my school. And then this is for the inter-house competitions that are held at my school, Federal Science College.
Wow.
And I received
before we move on, what were your speeches about? What did you talk about?
Yeah, this was my question. Come on.
I've been participating in speeches since like 3rd grade.
Okay.
So they've been all about different topics.
Okay.
So most about they're like the general topics like time is precious and effort, about something like that.
Okay, I'm sorry to do this, but you still have got a minute to tell each and everybody out there that time is
very important.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Very
Your
important.
minute starts now.
Okay. So my name is Janet Ilyas, and today I'm here to tell you the importance of time. Time, what is time? Time is not only a word, it is a chain consisting of seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, and years. Elders may have told you that time is very important, and you may have listened to them and like ignored it, but time is important. When I gave my matriculation examinations, I kept, fiddling with things and stuff. I didn't study at all, but then I noticed that time is important. You can't just really fiddle with things and not study. I mean, parents keep telling you that time is important and you don't keep your ear, you don't listen to them, but you have to. Time doesn't come back. I've given my matriculation examinations, the mistakes that I've done, I recall to them, and then I think about it, I should have learned it at that time.
Brilliant.
Excellent. And you know what? I mean, this is a future generation that's going to be taking over the world.
And for all those parents who've actually been telling their kids that after your O-levels or matriculation, life's going to be easy, please stop lying to your kids. And time is definitely important.
That's absolutely wonderful. You speak so well.
Thank you
And
so
I'm
much.
scared to talk now. Now, let's move move on to the other awards that you've won. What are they
This
for?
is, again, it's for my curricular activities. You know, it's from 3rd grade, I guess, because I've been studying in Beacon House previously. I'm an ex-Beaconite. And then I moved on to another school. So these are from my ex-school, and this is from my recent school.
Okay,
Wow.
wonderful. Okay, so
Both the
that's
schools did a great job.
wonderful, you know, the curricular activities, that's fantastic. So now let's go forward. So now let's come back to Muhammad Ali. You went to America, you said you want to see what the differences are that make countries developed, and you know, how can that be implemented or kind of tweaked.
And your hit and trial method.
Yeah, to suit Pakistan. But you said you worked on a documentary as well while you were there.
Yeah.
What was the documentary about, and why did you feel that that was something that you wanted to explore?
So the documentary was named as Nuclear Power, a piece of the puzzle, and it was basically about the increasing global warming around the world, and even it's a big issue in the United States. So
Well, the president denies it, doesn't he? So
So even
but
if
it
it's
is.
an issue.
yeah.
Yeah. So what we really did was that we found out that nuclear energy it produces, there is zero carbon emissions, almost zero carbon emissions, and it is a very efficient source of energy.
Okay.
So what we proposed to the Congress was that instead of building additional coal burning power plants to produce energy, we could build more nuclear power plants, which could be cost efficient since they are so efficient, and it would help us in reducing global warming since they are almost zero carbon emissions.
Okay.
So and also it was a new topic for us. I mean, I didn't know a lot about it, so I was very interested to dive in it and to know more about it. And my friends were in it, and we were pretty enthusiastic and passionate about that topic.
That's a heavy topic.
Amazing.
It is
Yeah,
amazing.
it is. But then at the same time, I'm sorry that I'm going to put you in the spot right
Oh
now.
gosh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry for that. It's
I
not
didn't-
going to be
didn't know
that
he was doing
difficult, but
this.
this is what you did. So there are two things. First of all, you were the cultural ambassador. You went as a cultural ambassador over there. You represent the youth of Pakistan. And today is World Heritage Day too as well.
It is.
Yes.
You even talked about our religion, which is Islam. You went to different churches. What I want to know is, what did you tell about the culture and heritage of Pakistan to all of those people who reside within the United States of America? And then, other than that, what was the response of all of those people within the churches or within universities or school when you talked about your religion?
Yay.
Okay, I'll tell you one thing. So when I was there, I got a chance to start off with delivering presentations from my high school, and they really appreciated it. And I told about our culture, and they were really impressed by our truck art.
Okay.
You never see that over there. But really, the thing that inspires people is your character. They want to see you. So even you would be talking about how media portrays Pakistan, or if all the terrorism and stuff. But really, what people want to see is your character. So how you are dealing with things and how you are behaving in certain instances, and that is what people look for. But however, they were quite amazed that we have. They were especially impressed by Islamabad. I mean, the beauty of Islamabad, how green it is, because a lot of people, they think it's a desert.
Yeah.
I was giving a presentation once, and
And
there
I
was.
think it's in the Middle East as well, right?
Yeah,
Pakistan.
they think it's in the Middle East. That's the
Yeah.
thing. So I was giving a presentation in a middle school, and there was one kid. He was very cute, and he stood up and he said, "Do you guys have like those smartphones, or you use those phones with buttons?" So I was like, "No, we have elephants. We don't even have cars." I was just joking around.
Yeah.
I mean, really, people don't really know
Anything.
how Pakistan is like. So it was really great to tell people more about it and to hear them, the response to what I told them.
Okay, so but when you were in the churches, how was that response? Because everyone from every religion has their own stereotypes, and obviously.
So
The
were they like,
stereotype
oh,
is great.
it's such a peaceful religion?
So
it's
what
amazing.
happened?
I'm glad you asked that question. The churches, I went to like almost 3 churches, 3 different type of churches, like Catholic, and then there was this Roman Catholic, and their response was very positive. I mean,
Okay.
first of all, they were very open to it. First, I mean,
Okay.
they gave me a chance to present my culture as well as my religion over there, and after that,
And
they
that
came
too
up-
at their prayer place.
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, after that, they came up with questions, and they were really curious about it. And one thing that I found great about the churches is that it's not only a place of worship. Over there, it was a place where people could socialize, where people could talk about it, and they would have presentations about different things.
Okay.
So that was one of my thing, where I went.
Wonderful. That's so good that you did that. Okay, so now moving
Janet.
on to Janet. Should I?
Yeah, so now what I wanted to ask was, this is something which he's done, and we'll definitely ask him because we are left with the 5 minutes only,
Yes.
last 5 minutes. What do you want to be in life? How do you see your own self? And what do you want to do for Pakistan? Because so far, whatever you've done is actually going to build you into a person who's going to do quite a lot for the country itself.
Yeah, and when will you branch out into the extracurricular activities as well?
I want to be an ideal, a person that every other person wants to be in their future life. Okay.
Okay.
My parents want me to do medical, you know, be a doctor, which I will be, inshallah. And after that, I want to do what I want to do.
Okay.
You know, really, I want to do CSS. I want to host. I want to come in front of the camera right now. I am like on top of the world.
Excellent.
I want to be here. I mean, I want to do everything.
Okay, so this
So
is
why
very
do you want to be a doctor then?
So this
I
is
mean,
fascinating.
Just do journalism.
Why?
I think you should be an all-rounder. You should
no,
do
okay,
everything. I
that's-
want to serve this country, being a doctor.
So being an
Okay.
all-rounder is like jack of all trades, master
Yeah,
of none.
all-rounder.
But
I
it's
think-
about specialization
I
this
think
time.
that's the parents taking a thing. No, just be an all-rounder, do everything. No,
No, I think the best approach is like be an all-rounder, but be best at something as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, but I feel like we're still making that kind of trade-off with the previous like generation
Yeah.
who are like, no, because you know they
Or
see
keep your avenues open, you know, pick up chemistry.
maybe
and
this career will
FSC2
fail. You
as
can
well,
fall
so
back
that you
on
can
something.
go into MBBS.
Is that what it is? Like maybe if something doesn't work, then you have like a solid degree or solid career to fall back on.
Yeah, I think parents think about our future life. You know, we can't think that far that our parents do.
Okay.
So I think they think for us the best.
Okay.
As far as it's concerned, that parents have the right.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. We're not denying that at all. We're just
Yeah,
questioning.
come on, love
We're
your
not
parents.
questioning. We
It's
love your
all right.
parents.
Add to it a little bit?
Yeah,
sure.
please.
Yeah, okay. So, you know, in accordance with me, I think this is the stage where we want to know ourselves.
Yes.
So it is the stage where we want to make mistakes.
Yeah.
But here is the thing, along with making mistakes, you have to evaluate your step. So when you do a certain thing, you have to evaluate whether it was good for me or not. And then make a different mistake again. Don't make the same
But
mistake
if you
again.
make a
Yeah.
mistake in evaluating your own self, I think you're not going to land anywhere.
No.
So let your parents evaluate you for a while. Yeah.
I mean, there is no one except you who can know yourself. I mean,
Absolutely.
Wow.
But that's wonderful.
You're still looking forward to who you are, so
No.
you know it's probably better to listen to somebody
No,
whom you
and
trust.
dive
Absolutely.
into things.
Whom you trust.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, to him.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And your parents know best as well. But
Yes,
now,
yes,
now going forward, what would you like to do? What do you want to do with your career and with your life now? Because you've branched out from the school activities. You're doing extracurricular activities. You know, you're kind of feeling out different parts of your personality. But what do we see for the future?
You know, see, I'm really passionate about the potential that our youth has, and especially, you know, listening to her, the amount, the achievements that she has had. You know, really, if I can tell an event, you know, that has happened. So once, so it was a couple of months ago, I was volunteering with Youth Parliament Pakistan, and we were volunteering for a campaign called Ambulance Ko Rasta De. And we were at one of those traffic lights, and we were sort of distributing those, you know, stickers and taking oaths from people that they would give way to ambulances. And while I was there was a kid who was like 10 years old. He was poor with torn shalwar kameez, and he approached us. He approached one of our friends, and he asked what we were doing. Well, we told him what it was all about and why it is important to give way to ambulances. Then he asked us to hand him those stickers, and then he went off and started giving those stickers and taking
Aw.
oaths from the youth. Now this was very inspiring. The reason
Yes.
is that he was 10 years old, and he was the one to take the initiative. And he was really a leader. What we don't really see is that he was a leader. And you know, then we asked him after he did all that whether he was studying, and he couldn't study because of his financial situation. But we were really inspired of the leadership qualities that he has. And I really think that each and every one of us, especially the youth, they have a lot of talent and qualities that they are not aware of.
Yeah.
And we need to identify those qualities.
Absolutely.
So I want to become a lawyer, graduate from Harvard Law School, and then run for Prime Minister.
Okay,
inshallah, and serve
excellent.
this country.
Wow, the future.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
cool.
excellent. Well, okay.
Wow.
Actually, we have one last question, and we need to do justice to it. And we'll start with Janan. Tell us about, because it isn't just the parents who also have been helping, it's your teachers as well. How much role have they played in guiding you and mentoring you and inspiring you?
They have played a key role in what I am today is because of my teachers. You know.
Okay.
I really appreciate what they did with me. They mentored me a lot. They, with my accent, with my speaking style, with my expressions. What I am today is because of my teachers.
Very nice.
Wonderful. And we know what your teachers did because we talked about that last time as well. But thank you so much for being here today, guys.
Thank you for
Best
having
of
me.
luck. It's always a pleasure to have you guys on the show. And you know what? I don't know. I don't really know what to say. Like, the youth is really impressive. And you know, it's about being an all-rounder. It's all about, you know, doing well in school. It's about giving back to your community and your society. And also it's just about being happy and also just feeling it out when you're a child. That's when you make mistakes, because that's the time when you can learn and also come out of it.
Exactly, but then at the same time, you know, I'll have a different opinion, and that is that all of these kids are so talented because of the fact that they were within those circumstances or surroundings which actually made them who they are today. So as a matter of fact, we need our, you know, probably elderly generations to be adaptable towards changes, as so that, you know, they keep on learning and they never stop, so that, you know, it is easier for them to explore newer avenues if they'll have examples and ideals, as Jannat said. So please make sure that you are an ideal to somebody. Inspire every day.
Exactly. With that, if you would like any information about anything we've discussed, please log on to our Facebook fan page.
This is with the name of World This Morning.
Our Twitter page.
World This Morning without a G.
Our Daily Motion YouTube
World
page.
This Morning.
And the repeat is at
11.
And I'll be sharing my links as well to my articles on the page, so check it out.
Exactly. So till the next time, 1, 2, 3, good morning. Good morning.